everybody. Welcome back to the life and times of Grandpa Humbke. It's great to be back on track. Look at the puzzles behind me. Here is Toronto and New York. On this side, this is Hong Kong. This puzzle has 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's a very unique 4D puzzle. We will be going back to Hong Kong as soon as international travel permits. After establishing an adult training center in John VA, Alberta, I left for Smith, Alberta, where I became a grade 1 to 10 school principal. Roxanne would start grade 1 under Mrs. Jan Collins. Nadine would attend kindergarten classes taught by Miss Grace Crawford. And Naomi would keep her mom busy at home. In August of 1970, our family of 5 arrived in the hamlet of Smith, Alberta, which is 182 kilometers northwest of Edmonton at the confluence of the Lesser Slave River and the Athabasca River. The Dunvegan and BC Railroad had reached Smith in 1914, and the hamlet was booming. Smith was in a heavily forested area, and a sawmill was the principal employer. Many large trucks hauled logs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on forest roads going 100+ kilometers north into the bush. Most of the teachers were from other countries or places in Alberta. We shared a duplex house with Vice Principal Collins, his wife, the grade 1 teacher, and 2 young daughters. Emil Ilego from the Philippines and a young lady from Tanzania, Africa, bordered with our family. Declan Muldoon from Ireland, Miss Crawford with a young daughter from Jamaica, and Dennis Hennessy from Saskatchewan with his wife and 3 large sons were other teachers I can recall. We had a wonderful, busy life in Smith and many great experiences. Declan came from a large Irish family and was a lot of fun. We formed a curling team of 4 with him as our lead, and in our first game, Declan was to throw the first rock. We found out later that he had never seen the game played. He got in the hack, holding the 40-pound stone by the handle, and when I, the skip, asked him to throw the rock, he wound up and tried to throw it through the air. Of course, the curling stone only made it a little over 10 feet before crashing to the ice. It broke up so much ice that the game was over before it started. And Declan never lived it down. Locals would smile whenever they saw him, and he would turn red. Emil was a professional chef who had worked in the Philippines and Canada, where he prepared meals at the tables in five-star hotel dining rooms. He was a fabulous cook and ended up cooking many of our family meals, especially during holidays. I remember him putting the Thanksgiving turkey in a burlap sack and then breaking the bones with a hammer. It was not the way we prepared or cooked a turkey, but it sure tasted good. He would also go to Edmonton and pick up fresh saltwater fish to cook. Having had our freshwater fish always fried in the past, we were amazed by the different tastes of fish prepared by Emile. Emile's young cousin came over from the Philippines and stayed with us for 2 weeks. His English was good and he was a beginning engineer, but like Declan, he did not understand Canadian culture. One day, we asked him to babysit Naomi, our 3-year-old, as Kathy and I were working and Nadine and Roxanne were at school. We came home to find Naomi had taken our LP records out of their covers and spread jam and peanut butter on them while he sat on the sofa and watched her. We asked him why he did not stop her. He earnestly replied, "She told me to sit on the sofa and watch her." That year, we learned to live with individuals from all over the world. There were a lot of surprises that are now great memories. Not to be outdone in uniqueness, the Hennessy family came from 1,200 kilometers away in southeast Saskatchewan. Dennis, a huge man, arrived in a big station wagon with his short, stout wife, a superb baker, and 3 nearly as big boys. They were pulling a large boat stacked full of their belongings and proudly announced they all loved to fish and that their mom was a great cook. The family happily settled into what was known as the castle, a 20 by 20 foot granary with doors and windows added, sitting on a 2-foot high cement foundation. They made it into a loving home, or should I say bakery, where Mrs. Hennessy baked bread, buns, pies, and cakes daily. She fondly reminded me of Corinne Brady, the home baker where I had boarded during my 2nd year of teaching in Edinburgh. It seemed to me that the Hennessy's spent all their time eating, fishing, watching TV, and enjoying each other's company. Dennis was a great science teacher, and we became good friends. Kathy and I played cards with local couples and become great friends with the Alberta family from Winnipeg. Al ran the local hotel, which was always full of drivers from Newfoundland who drove the logging trucks. He had served in the Canadian Army in World War II and Korea, and his claim to fame was a heavyweight boxing championship in the Army. Al needed that qualification to keep the local hotel under control, given all the single truck drivers who made the beer parlor their home away from home. Al became a great friend, and we rented his house in Edmonton the following year. Later, in 1983-84, he came to Regina to work in the LaSalle Hotel and ran our smaller hotel in Glenewan, Saskatchewan. On the left, you see the Smith Hotel and the church. On the right, you see Lloyd and Arlene LaFrance's red and white store and gas station. Smith was a wonderful experience, but after being a teacher administrator for 7 years, I decided to try another occupation. In July of 1971, we moved into Al Currett's house in the Bonnie Doon community of Edmonton, and I took training to get a license as a real estate salesman. That year, I started working for Nick Storoshinko, owner of Holiday Realty, homes for the working man. Working as a real estate salesman meant you only got paid when you got results. I loved it and realized that I would be happiest if I was my own boss. 7 generations of independent German farmers was to have more influence on me becoming an entrepreneur in the future. I look forward to seeing you again next week on YouTube. Bye-bye for now.